ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। संसारदुःखजलदस्य पतितस्य काम क्रोधादिनक्रमकृतवलीकृतस्य दुर्वासनस्य निगृतस्य निराश्रयस्य चैतन्यचन्द्रमम देहि पदावलम्बम्। जयतां सुतपङ्गुर्मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्पदां भुजौ श्रीराधामदनमोहनम् विश्वसर्गविसर्गादिनवलक्षलक्षितं कृष्णाख्यं परं धाम जगद्धाम नमामि यत् वृन्दाय तुलसीदेवी प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवते नमो नमः। महाबोधे स्थिरे कनकरुचिरनीलशिखरे वसनप्रसदान्त सहजबलभद्रेण बलिना सुभद्रामध्यस्थ सकलसुरसेवावसरदो जगन्नाथ स्वामी नयनपथगामी भवतु मे। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री भजन रस in continuation of what we were hearing yesterday, Bhajan Rasya Vritti. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, it is stated, ज्ञानी जीवन मुक्त दशा पायनो करी माने वस्तुता बुद्धि शुद्ध नहीं कृष्ण भक्ति बिनै. The meaning is, this verse describes how yogis observe the practices. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going step by step. He is establishing the importance of Harinam and pure devotion when it is not mixed with any yoga, gyan, and other practices. So, philosophical part. This verse describes how yogis observe the practices of Ashtanga Yoga. Yogis, their practices is Ashtanga Yoga. And in that Ashtanga Yoga, they follow Yam and Niyam, rules and regulations to follow and certain rules to give up. But what is their practices is about? By following so much? Just to restrain the senses, that's all. This is the aim. But they use processes like pranayam to pacify the restless mind in Ashtanga Yoga. With all these exercises, head down, feet up, head up, feet down, performing pranayam to keep. So they use these processes like pranayam to pacify the restless mind. That's what they choose. And they use pratyahar to keep the objects of sense enjoyment far away. What is the meaning? They, yogis, they're only focusing on controlling the mind and to restrain the senses from the sense objects. That is what their purpose is. And they work so hard in that. But they don't respect and they don't give any honor to devotional practice, which is inclusive of everything. Pranayam, to restrain from the senses and from the sense objects, everything can be accomplished just by performing bhakti yoga. It is just like I always give this example that in $100, all dollars are present in $100. 80 is there, 90 is there, 50 is there. But Ashtanga yogis, they only practice to gain something which is, again, this is material. Krishnaika Sharanam, dependence on Krishna, means surrender to Krishna. And Krishna Arthe Akhil Bhoga Tyag. For the sake of Krishna, giving up all other sense enjoyment that's not present in them. You'll find them being sannyasis, some of them. But their purpose of renunciation sannyas is not Mukund Seva Gangari, not to serve the senses of Lord Mukunda, but just focused on their own style and their own practices. That's Ashtanga Yoga. So it is not pure bhakti because it is centered with one's own mind and just taking care of one's advancement in their particular stream of following the yoga. That's all. By remembering the object of meditation, by repeated dharana, and finally by samadhi, they become absorbed in Brahm. After following this Ashtanga Yoga with Yam and Niyam and with Pranayam and Pratyahar, stop eating. They stop eating. They are giving up eating. Pratyahar, to control the senses, and Pranayam to control the mind. That's all. So now what, on a very basic level, they function on a very basic level, but their object is to merge in Brahman. This was our topic yesterday. Here in Austin, I was giving this class in the evening, explaining this point. To be in God and to be with God is two different things. To be in God and to be with God. Two different domains. Our philosophy is not to be in God. Our philosophy is to be with God. So I gave example. Just like a mother, if she's pregnant, she is restless to deliver the baby, to play with baby, to serve the baby, to sleep with baby. Why? She's extracting so much bliss by serving them, her child. When the child in the womb of mother, even though she's happy, but very restless and excited. And after delivering the child, taking care of child, if the child think, my mother is the source of all happiness, she is happy, I'm happy. Let me just go back into the body of my mother to become happy. In devotional practice, the process is not to become happy, not to become happy, but to taste happiness. I gave example of sugar candy, or we say example of ice cream. Vanilla ice cream is very delicious. Yes. So what if you become ice cream? How will you taste ice cream? If you become ice cream. So the philosophy is not to become ice cream, but to taste ice cream. Not to become sugar candy, but to taste sugar candy. For tasting sugar candy, we need some practice. And what is that? Put sugar candy in the mouth. We can't taste sugar candy by smelling or just by rubbing on the face. Proper practice, proper procedure to put on the tongue. Similarly, our philosophy is not to be in God, to be with God, to be with Krishna. But Ashtanga Yoga, their practices is to merge in Brahman, to become blissful, not to relish bliss, but to become bliss. So if you become bliss, how are you going to taste the bliss? Understand? This is Ashtanga Yoga. So this is what their aim in their life. Finally, they go through Yam, Niyam, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana and Samadhi. That's their final, Samadhi. But this Samadhi is different from the Samadhi of devotees. This Samadhi is just meditation, restraint from senses, the object of senses, and then finally meditate on impersonal Brahm and get merged into Brahm. That's all. This stage is devoid of transcendental pastimes. Brahm is the effulgence of Lord. Bhagwan have three aspects. Vadanti tat tattvavidam tattva yaj jnanadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwan iti shabdate. Bhagavatam first canto. The three features of Bhagwan. Brahm means the effulgence. The effulgence of the Lord is a light. So much light is there. Yogis, they want to get merged into that light. Impersonal Brahm. And other is meditating on the four-hand Paramatma form. Just meditating. And the third aspect feature is Bhagwan. And devotees, they serve Bhagwan. Because to taste something, two objects needed. For reciprocation of any feelings, two persons needed. Master and servant. Krishna and servant. Then there is reciprocation, then there is taste. Okay, what is the fun? What is the fun if we just embrace oneself? Put your hands around you. What is the fun? But if you embrace your mother, embrace your father, embrace your children, yeah? There's emotions, right? Different emotions with different relationships. So there is some taste. Means there is some emotions. But emotions, if I just embrace myself, you're very sweet. Just declaring myself, I'm very sweet. So, master and servant. This mode is absent in yoga system, but this mode is prominent in Vaishnava philosophy. We following this personal feature of Bhagwan and service to Bhagwan. There are many institutions, there are many sects which preach about this impersonalism. The Shukdev Goswami, in his previous life, is explaining, and there's a verse in Shrimad Bhagavatam first canto explains, Parinishto api nirgunya uttam shlok lileya घृत चेज राजऋषि आख्याम यत हितवान. Shukdev Goswami said, I was absorbed in that impersonal Brahm, but by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, those pastimes dragged me from that impersonal Brahm to the personal feature of the Lord. That's dragged me means there's so much attraction. How you describe Brahm? Or just an effulgence? Any form? No. How you describe the features of Krishna? Baraha-pīdam natvarvapyo karnyokarnikaram vividravasam kanakapisham vajanti samalam randhayar venudhar sudhaya purna goparvindi vrindaramnam sapadaram pravishada gita. The beauty of Krishna is described. Who's carrying a peacock feather on his head, complexion of dark rain clouds, wearing yellow garment, holding flute. So this is just a journal. But if we take shelter of Rupa Goswami, he explains so many details of each and every limb of Krishna. Okay. This song, Sucharuvakthamandalam Sukarnaratnakundalam Suchachitangachandanam Namami Nandanam Danam Sudirghanetra Pankajam Shikhi Shikhandamurdajam Anantakoti Mohanam Namami Nandanandanam Vrindavana Sunagaram Vilasanugavasusam Surendra Garvamochanam Namami. So what is this? The features of Krishna. So many details. Shukdev Goswami said that all attracted one, his feature attracted me from, dragged me from that impersonal Brahm to the person Krishna. Personal features. And the four Kumaras, who were also, was practicing this. But later when they got changed, by smelling the fragrance emanating from the lotus feet of the Lord, mixed with the tulsi, which is offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, Narayan, that fragrance entered into the nostrils of four Kumaras. They got totally changed. They came to see Lord Narayan at Vaikuntha and saw him with all features and with his potency, Lakshmi Devi. And then later they condemn those who are following this process. Yadpad pankaj palash vilash bhaktaya karmasham gatitam udgratitam santaha. Tadvarna riktumateo yato viruddha shodganam taranyam bhaj vasudevam. He, they condemn those who are following this process. Four Kumaras. But it's not that one has to progress from this stage. Oh, first we should concentrate and meditate on impersonal Brahm and then Paramatma in the heart and then Bhagwan. No, that's not the system that we have to go through these stages. Directly worshipping Bhagwan, personality who is endowed with all six opulences, who is so beautiful, who has so many qualities, who have ananta pastimes, who have so many names. Krishna, Govinda, Madhav, Keshav, Madhusudan, Gopal, Radharaman, Radha Shyam Gokulanand, Vrindavan Chandra, all names with different pastimes. That's the beauty of, that's the glories of the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. Yeah. But yogis, they just, their aim is to become absorbed in Brahm, which is devoid of transcendental pastimes. Brahm never perform any pastimes. Can Brahm perform Ras Leela? But Brahm is a feature of Lord. But in what state? Dormant state. Everything is there, but he's not showing anyone, not reciprocating anyone. So what we have to do with that? The other feature, Paramatma, he is there but in inactive state, in the sense that he's only witness, but not participating or saying anything. He's just a witness of our activities. That's all. Paramatma is not functioning like Krishna, dancing, jumping here and there. No. But Bhagwan is the one who manifests so many pastimes. Oh, infinite pastimes. So if you have a choice to touch the shadow of a person and to touch the person, what are you going to choose? Shadow or the person? What you get with touching the shadow? But the shadow belongs to the person. Means there is no difference between the shadow and the person whose shadow is that. But still a lot of difference. The person has features. Shadow is only the shadow. No features are there. That's why Brahm. That's the goal of the yogis. Although they go through many difficulties and they practice so much self-control. So the yogis, their only goal is self-control, controlling the mind. And they do this with, how you say, uh, getting stubborn with the senses, forcefully restraining the senses. So what they do, you will see sometime videos. They go to Himalayas, minus say 60 degrees, just snow throughout the year. No oxygen, means less oxygen. The yogis, they go Himalayas naked, no clothes, and they sit in the ice, on that snow, sorry, and they just meditate. Imagine, no cloth, no jackets, no warm water, nothing, no warm wall. Just sitting there in ice cold water, taking shower in ice cold water. How they do this? What's the object? Self-control. And by doing this, they achieve some perfections, some siddhis. And they start doing some magics, some miracles. And people are very fond of seeing this. Wow, wow, wow. So magical. Hmm. Clapping. Wow, he's walking on water. He can fly in the sky. He can big. He can become big. He can become small like an ant. So lagima, anima, all these kind of perfections. This is what they get. And sometimes, oh, in the month December, January, so cold in Vrindavan, the yogi he sit in water, cold water in Jamuna till here, whole day just in water, whole day. And sometimes you will see them. You will see all these varieties in Brajmandal sometimes. Most of the time they are in Himalayas, but those were cold ones. Hmm. Sometimes what they do in the month of June, when there is super hot in India, 48 degrees Celsius, or goes to 50 degrees. The person, the yogi, he set fire around him, just surrounding him fire. They keep some wood there and fire around him. And he sat in middle of fire. He sit middle in the fire, and he keep one pot with burning coal on his head, and he sit like this in fire. What? Nigraha, controlling senses. Is this bhakti? And what is the meditation? Some of them they meditate in their heart, seeing Krishna in their heart as not Krishna, Paramatma in their heart. And their meditation start with there's a fire, there's a fire, and I see Paramatma in that fire. Four-handed Paramatma in that fire. This is the meditation. See, there are different beliefs in the world. I won't say in the different religions, Muslim, Christian, they are not religions. Everyone is soul. The religion of soul is love, the love of God. But all these are different beliefs. So what Christians meditating on? What do you go and you see in the church? What is the meditation? Jesus, right? What form of Jesus? Crucified. And who is Jesus? He's our Guru. He's our God. Meditating on your God being crucified, and blood is coming from his hands, from his feet in that cross. This is the object of meditation? Imagine. Priests, they drink wine and they offer to Jesus. But what they think this wine is? They say this is blood of Jesus. You are drinking blood of your Gurudev, of your God. What kind of meditation is this? In other beliefs, they only meditate on something which has no form and no narration of any form. They just meditate on something which has no form. Jesus said, I am Son of God. Who is God? Not mentioned there. In other beliefs, chanting Allahu Akbar. What is the form of Allah? Nothing mentioned. The features not mentioned. If we read Bhagavatam, Vedas, Puranas, oh, features mentioned. How the eyes look like, how the nose look like, how the teeth look like. Features. Lotus hands, lotus feet, Namo Pankaj Nabhaya, Namo Pankaj Malini, Namo Pankaj Netraya, Namaste Pankajangre. Like lotus. Huh? Moon. 24.5 moons on the body of Krishna. Rupa Goswami explains from the toe to head, each and every description of the beautiful form of Krishna. You see. Therefore, Jaiv Dharam explains by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He is reconciling all the religions. They are meant to facilitate those who are in different moods. But Sanatan Dharma is something topmost. Where Jiva is Sanatan. Mamevansho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhut, Sanatan. Where Bhagwan is Sanatan. Aho Bhagyam, Nand Go Vrajakusam, Yan Mitra Paramananda, Purna Brahm, Sanatan. Bhagwan is Sanatan. Jiva is Sanatan. Sanatan means eternal. And the relationship between Bhagwan and Jiva is eternal. It's eternal. So, you see, what is the object of meditation? Yogis see a fire and see Paramatma, they are worshipable in the fire. Another believes they meditate on their God being crucified, hanging on the wall. That's what they go every Sunday and they meditate on. Is this is object of meditation? Is blood is an object of meditation? Is this is the state of meditation? And when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam and other pastimes of Krishna, what is the object of meditation? Oh, Krishna being playing with the sakhas, the source of all bliss. Yeah. And then we have so many temples in Vrindavan, and someone can say, oh, these deities are made of from marble. It is just someone's personal meditation, and they carved that stone accordingly. And why we believe they are transcendental? They're just good marble. They're just good stone, the good wood, etc. How about Radharamanji? Nobody made Radharaman. Small deity Radharaman. Who made Radharaman? No one. Self-manifest from Shaligram Shila. He is the object of meditation. Krishna holding flute, peacock feather, lotus eyes, mild smile, and three-band form. That's our meditation. But there is something more big meditation than this. What is that? Serving that Lord, meditating on the service mood, not just mere meditating on the form. Oh, I'm meditating on Radha Raman, but just meditating on Radha Raman. How about your service to Radha Raman? So, devotee section, they meditate on the service of Radha Raman. But then there is another meditation, meditating on the service of devotees. Srila Madhav Goswami Maharaj said, if I've been given an option, choose one, serving Krishna and serving devotees. You can only do one. So what's your option? What's your choice? He said, I would rather choose serving devotees. Why? तुम्हार हृदय सदा गोविंद विश्राम, गोविंद कहना mama वैष्णव परान. Bhagwan Krishna is present in the heart of devotees. Sadhu hidi mayam, sadhu hidin tamham. Sadhu in the heart of the Krishna, and Krishna is in the heart of sadhus. So I would rather choose serving devotees. So yogi meditating fire and four-arm form Paramatma in the fire. But devotees, they can't even meditate fire. Devotees, when they offer hot milk to Krishna, it's not hot boiling milk. Milk they serve to Krishna. The milk just got boiled, and that hot milk with tulasi and offered to Krishna. Anyone does that? No. We cool down. We make it cool, drinkable, and then we offer. That's the difference between a yogi and a devotee. The difference is only about your meditation. What you are meditating on. What is your object of meditation? So they meditate on the Brahm, they meditate on Paramatma, and meditation on Bhagwan. Three of them are features of the Bhagwan. But devotees, they choose the meditating on Bhagwan, not Brahm and Paramatma. Understanding the philosophy. So, although they go through many difficulties and they practice so much self-control, even if they become successful, they only attain a degraded state. So much difficulty, right? sitting in snow. Is it easy? Sitting naked in the snow, sitting in water, sitting in the fire. So go through many difficulties and they practice so much self-control. They don't allow their mind to go here and there. Only focus on the mind, self-control. Even if they become successful, even that's not guaranteed. But even if they become successful, they only attain a degraded state. They don't attain transcendental state. They remain again in that material state. The heart of the jiva cannot become completely pure by doing yoga and so forth. The heart cannot become pure. 4 Kumaras, they were practicing this and they went to Vaikuntha and they got stopped by Jai and Vijay, 2 doorkeepers. What they did? Curse them, anger appeared. So where is your self-control? Imagine. 4 Kumaras who always stay at the age of 5. They only wear one small cloth like a kopin, and they, oh no, not even that, sorry. They went naked. Sorry. They went naked to Vaikuntha and they got stopped by Jay and Vijay, who were wearing clothes, who had clothes on, very opulent clothes. Try to understand this. The doorkeepers, Jay and Vijay, devotees of Lord Narayan, wearing clothes, but those who approached them were 4 Kumaras, totally naked. 4 Kumaras saw them and said, "You cannot enter here in Vaikuntha like this." That's not the system to enter in Vaikuntha. 4 Kumaras were practicing this yoga and immediately became angry and cursed them. Who are you to stop us? Yeah. There is no kuntha in Vaikuntha. There is no envious mood in Vaikuntha. And you are partial to us. You're allowing someone to go inside. You're not allowing us. That's not correct. We curse you. This is one example. On the other side, the other example is Nal Kuber Manigriv naked in front of Naraji. They came naked in front of Narad, and Naraji cursed them. What is that curse? Become tree. That curse of Naraji, Naraji's devotee. He knows the features of the Lord. Naraji's devotee. Therefore, Narad not with anger mood, but with singing, curse Nal Kuber Manigriv. You standing naked in front of me? May you become naked like tree in the courtyard of Nand Maharaj. Understand? 4 Kumaras got angry, and their curse made Jai Vijay, the servants of the Lord, to come into 3 demonic life. But the curse of Naraji too, Nal Kuber Manigriv. What is that curse? The curse elevated them to Golok Vrindavan. They became as Nigkant and Madhukant, always speaking and glorifying the pastimes of Krishna. Understand? Both cases are curse, but the curse of 4 Kumaras and the curse of Naraji being devotee, so much difference. So much difference. Therefore, the heart of Jiva cannot become completely pure by doing yoga and so forth. For upon seeing the forms and tasting the objects that attract his senses, he again becomes agitated to attain them. Hmm. Even though their practices is there to control the mind, but when they see the sense object, when they see the form, they again became agitated to attain them. It is because of that desire that he falls down. Example is Saubri Muni. Saubri in the water, Jamuna, he cursed Garud, the carrier of Bhagwan. Garudji used to come there and he's taking some fish because he is in Pakshi Leela. Understand? Pakshi Leela is bird. So Garudji was taking those fish out from the Jamuna who were sinful. Those were sinful. But seeing this, Sabri Rishi, he cursed Garudji. You can't come here. That was his offense to Garudji. And then Sabri Rishi, because he was Rishi, he was Muni, and he cursed the devotee of Lord, means Garuda. So what happened? The consequence. Sabri Rishi, so much self-control, but he saw a male and female fish mingling together. Self-control was there, but seeing the form and seeing the scene got agitated. And he came out from water, went to the king Mandhata. King Mandhata, who had 50 daughters, all beautiful ones, young ones. Sabri Muni said, Hey king, I want to marry one of your daughters. And the king was surprised. What? You are yogi. You are rishi. You want to marry? Where is your self-control? He was not saying, but he was thinking. And also thinking that so old, wrinkles, can't even see, there's no teeth. And you want to marry in this state? The king Mandhata. He said, "Oh, well, what to say?" He said, "Oh, I can't take any decision. Let my daughters come here, and they can take decision. If they like you, I don't mind marrying any of my daughter with you." King Mandhata cannot say straight because he know this Rishi going to curse me if I say anything. So just kept tricky way. He just kept everything for the daughters to decide. Sabri Muni said, "Okay, you're not understanding who am I. You're not understanding who I am. So wait." And he took a dip in the water, came out, handsome personality, teenager, handsome, full of all youth. Then he came to the palace and told the king, "Okay, bring your 50 daughters. Let me see who will choose me." 50 daughters came there, and they all said, "Father, we all want to marry him. He's so handsome, full of youth." 50 daughters. And Sabri Rishi, he married to 50 daughters of King Mandata, who was a Rishi before. Self-control. But just by seeing a scene, he lost his self-control. And he married to 50 young girls of King Mandata. But then later on, later on, he repented for this. What I did. Yeah. And with this repentance mode, he worshipped, he did bhajan, and then gradually he came out of this state. So that means Ashtanga Yoga. So what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is teaching us, uh, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is teaching us, educating us. Don't get entangled. All this glittering yoga system. Focus on your devotional life. These are the pros and cons. This you have to go through. So if there any offer like this, don't accept this. Just focus on your devotional practice. You are doing good. By the mercy of Gurudev, by the mercy of Krishna, Brahmand Brahmite kaun bhagyavan jeev. Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti. Imagine, after wandering in so many universes, in so many lifetimes in the universes, we got this rare opportunity of practicing. Just practicing. We are on the practicing stage. Practicing means faults are there. Uh, Even we are practicing this service to Krishna. Very fortunate. Very fortunate. More than yogis. A householder practicing bhakti yoga is far superior than a yogi who's following Ashtanga yoga. Understand? So many subtleties are there. Gurudev used to say, Amrish Maharaj is still practicing bhakti, not perfection, still practicing. How is practicing? Save mana Krishna padar vindayo. Yeah. He's just practicing, engaging all his senses in the service of the senses of the Lord. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj already got perfection and he has his own Sarup and is serving Narsimdev. He got perfection. Amrish Maharaj is still practicing. Gurudev said, who is superior? This is from Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Sanatana Goswami Maharaj. Who is superior? Prahlad Maharaj or Amrish Maharaj? Amrish Maharaj is superior. Oh, why? Prahlad Maharaj is already perfect. Amrish Maharaj is still practicing. Yes, practicing, but practicing for a high goal. Narsingh Bhagwan appeared, Prahlad Maharaj. Now we are doing, this is called comparative study. We are not offending anyone. Prahlad Maharaj is all glorious. But his mood is Aishwarya mood, full of opulence. You don't think Narsingh Bhagwan ever wants any food to eat, or he need any massage, or he need any drink. Serving Lord with opulence. But Amrish Maharaj serving with not Aishwarya Bhav, his sweet Bhav. So whenever he will get perfection, it will be higher than the perfection of Prahlad Maharaj. That's why practicing Bhakti Yoga and already got perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, practicing Bhakti Yoga is superior than getting perfection in Ashtanga Yoga. Because their goal is just Brahm. Our goal is serving. What is our goal? Kalindera kule keli kadambe ravana ratana bedera upha poshovo dujana Shama Gauri Ange Divachua Chandane Ragana Chamara Dula Bhokave Heri Mukha Chanda Radha Krishna Pranamo Yugala Kishore Vishakhadhi Sakhi Gana. No, I forgot. I don't have with me. But how we will attain this? This is our meditation. How will attain this? Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasir Danuda Sevaya Bhilasha Kare Narottamada. So we are so fortunate. We are following Vaishnavism and we are fortunate to be in the Gaudiya Vaishnava lineage with very high goal. Although we are just practicing for now, we are not perfect, full of faults, but at least our goal is very high, and we understanding this goal with our maturity gradually, gradually, gradually. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so